Hi everyone, welcome back. In this video I'm going to be showing you how to make one of these brick stitch earrings with this circular fringe. So this is what they all look like. So to make some of these you're going to need some size 11 seed beads in at least 2 different colours. So today I'm going to show you how to do it like this with the 2 different coloured stripes. But once you know how to do the pattern, then you can change the colours to create whatever design you want. So you can do a rainbow in which you just change the colour for every row, or you could do like I've done here with a nice mix of seed beads. So that's up to you, but we're going to do today's video. You're going to need 2 different colours, size 11 seed beads. You'll also need your beading thread, and for this one, because we've got these hanging strands here, I'm going to use Nymo. I believe this is size D, and I'm going to use about 38 inches of that. I'm also going to need a beading needle and earring hooks as well. So that's everything, let's get started. I've threaded my needle, I've laid my colours out, so we're doing this pattern this time. So the colour that's right here in the centre is the colour you're going to start with, so just bear that in mind, whichever colour you want to have this in the centre. So you're going to pick up 3 of that first colour. Slide those down onto your thread all the way down until you've just got just a short amount left at the end. Holding them like this, we're going to pick up 3 of the second colour. And coming out the top here of these 3, I'm going to take those other 3 on my needle through all 3 of those from the bottom. Bring that down. So we've got this, and now I'm going to go down through those 3 turquoise beads. Okay, so we have this, so now we're picking up 3 of our first colour again. And doing the same, but this time we're coming out the bottom of these 3, so we're going to circle round and go down through the top of those 3. So you have this, now going up through the 3 we just added. Swapping back to the second colour, picking up 3. Coming out the top of these 3, so we're going to circle round and go through the bottom, up through all 3 of those. Now down through the 3 we just added. So we have this. Now we're going to do 2 rows of the grey. So picking up 3 grey, 3 of your first colour, and going back into those 3 that you're coming out of, but on the opposite side. Like that, and now back through the 3 we just added. And now another row of the greys, so picking up 3 grey again, and this time going through the bottom of that row. Pull that through and go down through that row that you just added. Okay, so right now we've got 6 rows, and we're going to go back to alternating now until we get to 10 rows. So we're going to do a row like this again with the second colour. Just picking up 3 of your second colour, going back into these 3 but on the opposite side. And back up through those 3 we just added. Now swap into your first colour again and doing the same thing. Okay, swap into colour 2, picking up 3 and adding those in the same way. And finally 3 of your first colour, adding those in exactly the same way to finish off the ladder stitch. So just count along and make sure you've got 10 rows. Now we're going to zigzag back to the other end. So you're coming out the bottom of these three, you're going to go up through the next three, pulling it tight after each one, down through the next three, up through the next three, down through the next three until you get all the way to the other end. So now you should be right at the other end. You should be coming out here opposite where your tail thread's coming out, and it should look nice and flat and neat like this. I'm going to flip it over so that my thread's coming out this top right corner because I'm going to work right to left. So we're going to be doing brick stitch now. We're going to pick up 2 beads each time in this first row, starting with your first colour. So we're coming out here, you're going to pick up 2 of those, you're going to go under, take your needle under this thread that connects the first column to the second column, pull that down slowly so the beads don't flip over, and then you're going to go up through both of those beads. Pull that through, so they should stack like that. Now we're picking up 2 of our second colour, and we're going under the second thread bridge. So take your needle under those threads, pull it down, and now go up through both of those beads you just added. So we have this. Now back to your first colour and picking up 2, taking your needle under the next thread bridge, pull it down and sew up through both of those beads. Okay, swapping colour again to your second colour, picking up 2, taking your needle under the next threads, pulling it down and going up through both of those. Next you're going to pick up 1 of your second colour followed by 1 of your first colour, like that, and then do the same. So go under the next threads, pull it down and up through both of them. So you have that. Now swapping and doing 2 of your second colour under the threads, pull it through and go up through both of those beads. Okay, this time 2 of your first colour under the next threads and up through those 2. 2 of your second colour under the next threads and up, and finally 2 of your first colour under those last threads and up through those 2. That. So we have this. I'm going to flip it over again, so again my thread's on this top right side. So now we're going to start this row by just picking up 1 of your first colour, going under that first bridge of thread and up through that bead. Like that. Now you're going to come down through these 2 of your second colour, which is below. Like that. And now you're going to go down through the 3 of that same second colour in the bottom row. Up through the 3 next to it and back up through those 2 above. Okay, so now you're coming out of those 2 of your second colour, and you're going to pick up one of your first colour followed by one of your second colour and go under that next thread bridge like that, and now sew up through those 2 beads we just added. Now we're going to pick up one of your second colour followed by one of your first colour, go under the next thread, go up through those 2 beads. So we're going to do the same thing 3 more times, so picking up one of your second colour followed by one of your first colour and going under the next threads. One of your second colour followed by your first colour and under the next thread. And one more time, one of your second colour, one of your first colour, under the next threads and up through those 2 beads. Okay, now we're going to pick up the opposite way around, so one of your first colour followed by one of your second colour and under the next thread, up through those 2 beads. And now we're going to go from here straight down through those 2 turquoise beads that are underneath, and up through these 2 of your first colour on the end of that row. Okay, now picking up one of your first colour, we're just going to go under this final thread bridge here on that row with a single one, like we started with a single one at the other end. So under there and up through that bead, like that. Now to anchor that down so it's not sitting up like this, you're going to go back down through those 2 turquoise ones below again. So down through those 2. So that it sits level like that. Now you're going to come up through the 2 to the right of those, and then up into these 2 above. So you should be coming out here. Now turn it over. So now we're going to do a full row of just regular brick stitch, and it's going to be all your first colour. So you're just picking up one each time, starting by going under this first thread, pulling it down and going back up through that bead. Picking up one, under the next thread, pull it down and go up through that bead. So you need to do that all the way along, so 1, 2, 3 more times. So then you should have this, and you should be coming out up here. You're going to go down through these 2 beads below, like that, and then up through the 2 next to you, and up into the one above to the right. So the second bead in on the top row, like that. Now we're just going to add, coming this way, we're going to add 2 single beads in the same way of your main first colour. So going under this next thread bridge and up through that bead, and one more under the next thread and up through that bead. So that's just made a little group of 2 on the top, which is where we're going to attach our earring hook later. I don't do it now just because they can kind of get in the way and your thread gets caught on them all the time. So I'm going to do that at the very end. So now we're coming out here, you're going to come down through this bead below to the right. And let me just turn it around so that I'm working up this way. Okay, now we're just going to travel down. You need to be coming out of either this row or this row, the middle 2 rows coming out the bottom. So I'm going to go down through 2 below, down through these 2 that are right in the centre, and into either side, it doesn't matter. I'll just go to this one. So make sure you're coming out of one of those 2 centre rows. Now we're going to add the strands that are hanging underneath. So for the first one, you are starting with your first colour and you're going to pick up 3. So whichever one you're coming out of, you're going to go back down through the other one. So into the other centre row, pull that down, so they sit like this. So now you're going to go down through these next 3, so 3 of your second colour. And this time you're picking up your second colour. And every time I do this, it varies on how many I need to pick up. So I'm just going to start by threading a few on. So I'm just picking up a few. I'm not going to tell you like exact amounts because, like I said, it's been different every single time I've done it. And even though these are Miyuki beads and they're all really even, this earring I picked up a different amount to this one. So it just really depends, I guess, on your tension and all sorts of different things. So just thread a few beads on, slide them down, and you're just going to kind of, let me zoom in a little bit, you just got to kind of make sure they're pressed right up to this side and lay them out. And I'm going to need one more. Just make sure that they loop round and they reach back to this one, which we're going to connect them to. Now if you go through it and the beads are hanging like way too far away from this middle strand, then you can go back through and remove a bead or however many you need. But if you don't add enough beads, then they're gonna like always be sitting up. They're not gonna sit flat like that if you've not got enough beads. So just gonna have to experiment as you go, as I'm gonna have to as well. So I think that will be okay for that one. So once you've got the amount you think you need, you're going to go down through the 3 on the opposite side. So you're looping around and going down through the 3 of the matching colour. And that's perfect. So like I said, you don't want it to be too tight or it's not going to sit nice and flat. You don't want it to be like way too big. So then you're going to go down through the next 3. So this time you're going to pick up your first colour. So again, I'm just sliding a few down so I can get an idea of how many to add. Like that. So I think that might be okay. And then again, once you've got an amount you think will be okay, you're going to come out of this one, so you're going to loop round and go up to the corresponding colour on the other side. So let's see, yep, that fits okay. So then I'm going to go down through the next one, these 3 turquoise, and do the same, and then finally do the same on the last one, and then I'll show you how to add the earring. Okay, so once you've done all your strands, it should look something like this. So this is how, when you lie it down, you want it to lie flat. You don't want these like stacking on top of each other or hanging too far apart from each other. So this is what it looks like. So now I'm going to show you how to attach your earring hook. So you've done your last strand, so you should be coming out of one of these groups of 3 that were on the first row of the brick stitch. So you're just going to travel to the top, so I'm going to go up through the next 2. Now I'm actually going to go across and down through these 2, just because I need to get closer to the centre anyway. Like that. Now I'm going to go up through the next 2. Make sure you pull it tight each time so that the thread disappears and you don't see these loops of thread in between the beads. Now I'm coming out here, so I'll go up through these next 2. Up through this single one above. Just keep going up until you're coming out of one of these 2 beads right at the top that we added. Okay, and then all you're going to do is just pick up your earring hook or your jump ring if it's attached to a jump ring. And coming out of this one, I'm going to go straight down through this one and through the one below to the left. Like that. So pull that down, make sure it's not twisted. That's it. Okay, now I'm going to go up through this one next to it and back up into this one. Through the earring hook and down through those 2 on this side again. Back up through the 2 on this side. Back through the earring, and as you can tell, I'm probably going to go through that several times. Make sure it's not going to come unhooked from the thread. Okay, so once I feel like it's going to be secure enough up there, then we're finished, and all you need to do is tie your knots and cut off your thread. I'm just going to move down through 2. Doesn't matter where you are when you tie your knots, but I'm going to do it right here. So I'm coming out of these 2 here. I'm going to take my needle right under the work so I catch some of those threads that are connecting all the beads together. Oops. Go through that loop that I've created 2 times. Bring it down nice and slowly so it doesn't knot until it gets to the bottom. Like that. And now I'm going to travel down through these 2 beads and pull that really hard, and you'll kind of feel that knot pop inside of these beads here so you can't see it. You can tie some more knots if you like, and before you cut your thread, make sure you move nice and far away from where you tied your knot. Then you can do the same with your tail thread, and we're all finished. Once you've finished, then all you need to do is obviously make the matching earring, which I always think is the worst thing about doing earrings. So you finally finish one and then you realise you've got to do another one to make the pair. But this is what they look like when they're finished. So I think the stripes are like really kind of effective, especially if you use good contrasting colours. So I'll show you a closer look at these. So you can't really see on the camera, but these pink beads, oh, you can see a little bit, have a rainbow finish on them, so they really shine really nice when they hang in the ears. This is the one we made today, and these beads are actually grey, but they're showing up this weird kind of green colour on the camera, which I don't really like, but they are definitely grey in person. These ones, which I used a mix for, so because it's just a really nice shape even if you're not doing the stripes and the patterns, so they're really pretty. And this, which is my favourite because it's a rainbow. So if you want to do the rainbow, it's going to be the same, but like what you can do is look back at this one that you've made and kind of see where you need to change colour. So you'll change colour every single row, and then on these ones where you do this kind of different pattern where you're picking up different beads, you'll just have to look at yours and kind of work out where all the rows are, if you know what I mean. So I hope you've enjoyed this video and found it helpful and you're able to make some of these. Comment down below what else you'd like to see, like this video if you enjoyed, and subscribe to see more of my videos, and you can follow me on Instagram at Beaded by Hannah. Thanks so much for watching everyone, see you next time, bye!